About 60% of office workers admit they can't go 30 minutes without getting distracted. More than 30% of US teenagers say their phones make them lose focus in class. Psychologists report that average attention spans have collapsed from 2.5 minutes in 2004 to less than a minute by the 2010s. One study even found that college students can now only stay on a task for 65 seconds. Writer Johann Hari calls this a serious attention crisis. And he stresses it's not a flaw in individuals. It's something engineered into our environment. Hari warns that without sustained focus, even democracy itself won't work, because people lose the ability to think critically and hold leaders accountable. In other words, our stolen focus is not just a personal weakness, it's a threat to society, to truth, and to our future. That's why it's our responsibility, as conscious individuals, to reclaim our attention, starting with ourselves, and then helping others do the same. I have hated nothing more than smartphones and TV. A library shelf may stand full of books, but we all will be staring at our phones. This image captures the modern reality. Smartphones and social media are relentless thieves of focus. Social platforms like Instagram and TikTok are designed to hook us. Psychologists explain that they provide constant, quick rewards, likes, notifications, and new content, which release dopamine and condition the brain to crave immediate gratification. In practice, this makes it incredibly difficult to concentrate on any task that requires patience and time. An entire phrase has even emerged to describe this phenomenon: TikTok brain, a state where rapid, superficial content makes deep thought almost impossible. This isn't just an impression. The science backs it up. A 2024 EEG study found that people with tendencies toward mobile short video addiction showed diminished executive control, meaning weaker impulse regulation and reduced ability to focus. Put simply, the more someone compulsively scrolls through TikTok or Instagram clips, the more their brain networks for attention and self-control weaken. Other research confirms this. Individuals who spend excessive time on short video platforms show reduced theta brain waves, which are essential for planning and concentration. In plain terms, constant scrolling literally undermines our ability to plan, concentrate, and think deeply. The design of these apps only makes matters worse. Every notification, every feed refresh, every infinite scroll is engineered to pull us away from whatever else we were doing. Tristan Harris, a former Google design ethicist, famously calls this the attention economy. Tech companies profit by monetizing every available moment of our minds. Algorithms are fine-tuned to make content as engaging and addictive as possible, often by exploiting our psychological vulnerabilities. In practice, that means less time thinking and more time consuming bite-sized, dopamine-driven content. As Harari notes, we shape our tools, and then our tools shape us. This digital trap affects everyone. A recent survey found that most adults spend around 80% of their 5 hours per day online on social media. Counselors warn that constant social media use can condition your brain to seek more immediate gratification, which makes it harder to focus on any single task. Many young people carry phones everywhere. At any gathering, teens and adults alike are glued to screens. In schools, the consequences are clear. A Pew survey revealed that 31% of teenagers lose focus in class specifically because of their phones. These habits don't just steal minutes, they erode the ability to focus for hours, follow a complex argument, or build skills like reading comprehension and critical analysis. This is the root of our attention crisis, Johann Hari writes. And then there is another myth which has caused more damage to our brains than everything which I'm going to discuss now. Johann Hari notes that our environment has become increasingly distracting in dozens of ways, one of the biggest being simple information overload. With the internet, constant notifications, breaking news alerts, and endless emails, we are never truly offline. Multitasking is often praised as a skill, but in reality it's a myth. Our brains cannot fully focus on multiple demanding tasks at once. Every time we switch, say pausing a report to check a text, we pay a switch cost. Cognitive scientists explain that even short interruptions force the brain to reconfigure, which slows us down, makes us prone to errors, and leaves us remembering less of what we've done. As Hari puts it, with constant task switching, we sacrifice depth and absorb less. Hari cites a study showing that workers are interrupted, on average, every 3 minutes. Each shift in attention weakens working memory and reduces our attention span. One analysis even found that students who multitasked by texting during exams scored 20% worse than those who didn't. The dangers extend beyond school or work. Distracted driving is responsible for about 1 in 5 serious accidents. All of this points to one conclusion. Interruptions make us dumber at the very tasks we are trying to complete. The only thing we do not want to be interrupted is watching short content. Hari points out that this decline of deep reading is self-reinforcing. The more we consume short, fragmented content, the less tolerance we have for sustained reading. The human brain evolved to process information gradually, but now it is forced to gulp data in tiny sips. Neil Postman captured this decades ago when he warned that modern media is fragmented, superficial, and focused on entertainment rather than substance, leading to a dangerous loss of context and coherence. Put simply, by never engaging deeply with any single piece of content, we are starving our ability to sustain attention. And this is why Neil Postman said, "We are amusing ourselves to death in this culture of amusement." In his classic book, Amusing Ourselves to Death, Neil Postman argued that television turned everything, politics, news, religion, and even education, into entertainment, stripping away depth in the process. Today's internet and social media are simply the next stage of that transformation. Information now has to fight for our gaze by being short, flashy, and sensational. A neuroscientist observes that social platforms are designed for speed and stimulation, which means we often focus only on the surface-level aspects of any message, its images or emotional punch, rather than processing it deeply. The result is that much of what we consume stays stuck in short-term memory, making deep reasoning harder than ever. In this sense, our media environment mirrors Aldous Huxley's dystopia more than George Orwell's. In Brave New World, Huxley imagined a society where people were conditioned to value pleasure and consumption above all else. A repeated slogan was, "Ending is better than mending," encouraging constant buying and discouraging attachment to things. Characters even admitted openly, "You can't consume much if you sit still and read books." This satire feels disturbingly familiar. Today we, too, feel uneasy, if forced to be still without a screen to scroll or a feed to refresh. Huxley foresaw a world where history and literature were abandoned, and people were sedated by infinite monotony. He was right. A culture obsessed with ease inevitably chokes off curiosity and critical thought. Ray Bradbury made a similar warning in Fahrenheit 451. His story depicts a society not only banning books, but also abandoning them, as the public chooses shallow entertainment instead. In one key moment, Captain Beatty explains that if people don't want to be unhappy, they're simply given one side of every issue, or none at all, so they never face complexities. His colleague Faber adds that books are hated and feared because they show the pores in the face of life, meaning they reveal uncomfortable truths. We see this today. Many prefer snackable content that confirms their existing feelings, rather than books or long articles that challenge them. In effect, we censor ourselves by choosing comfort and distraction over the discomfort of deep analysis. Postman explicitly tied Huxley's fears to our modern world. He warned, "What Huxley feared was that there would be no one who wanted to read books." And that fear has become reality. For decades now, recreational reading rates have plummeted. Educators report that reading for pleasure has dropped by almost 40% over the last 20 years. Studies cited by Hari show the same pattern. Young people are far less likely to pick up a book when 1,000 easier, faster stimuli are only a click away. This isn't just a bad habit, it's a cultural shift. Late-night Netflix binges may give instant gratification, but they offer little learning. As Postman put it, television made everything entertaining, and once media becomes the dominant guide, everyone is entitled to an opinion, but not everyone is entitled to be taken seriously. On social platforms, thoughtful discourse is drowned out by memes and viral videos. Complex issues get boiled down into sound bites, while nuance disappears. Cognitive researchers confirm that rapid-fire content impairs the brain's ability to engage in activities that require sustained attention, deep thinking, and reflection. And there is a very underrated thing that must be considered here to remedy the situation, which I am going to discuss now. While technology and culture are major thieves of attention, our biology and environment also conspire to steal focus. Johann Hari devotes several chapters to the physical and societal forces that fragment our minds. One of the biggest culprits is sleep deprivation. Modern life stretches work and leisure into late hours, often under artificial light and constant stimulation. Sleep scientists warn that chronic lack of sleep, now common in our 24/7 world, severely harms creativity, memory, mood, and concentration. Even a single sleepless night can cut focus in half and raise irritability, yet many people brag about working or scrolling all night, not realizing that this is a recipe for a foggy, unfocused brain. Diet is another powerful factor. Hari points out that industrial diets, heavy in refined sugar and processed fats, cause energy spikes and crashes. The brain experiences these swings as short bursts of focus, followed by long stretches of fuzziness. Junk food also triggers inflammation and disrupts glucose regulation, which neurons rely on for steady energy. By contrast, nutrient-rich diets high in omega-3s and antioxidants have been linked to sharper cognition. Unfortunately, modern eating patterns have drifted away from these brain-healthy foods. Hari argues that the so-called ADHD boom is partly driven by poor nutrition and an environment filled with brain toxins. Lead contamination, pesticides, heavy metals, and even chemicals in baby food can mimic or worsen attention disorders. Too often, people turn immediately to medication without addressing these underlying causes. Urban lifestyle changes have also reshaped how attention develops. Children today spend far less time playing outdoors. In the past, unstructured outdoor play trained focus. Kids had to manage risks, notice nature's complexity, and entertain themselves without screens. Today, many children are indoors, closely supervised, and entertained by digital devices. This double blow, reduced exercise and increased screen time, robs them of the chance to build long-term focus early in life. Mental health adds yet another layer. Anxiety, depression, and chronic stress make concentration almost impossible. In recent years, anxiety disorders have risen sharply, especially among young people tethered to social media. Stress hormones like cortisol, when elevated for too long, impair both memory and attention. Hari identifies this as one of the thieves of focus, a vicious cycle where digital stress fuels anxiety, which then further weakens our ability to concentrate. All of this shows that the crisis of attention is not just about gadgets or habits. It reaches into our bodies, our culture, and even our emotions. We are shaped, moment by moment, by the environments we immerse ourselves in. And that shaping determines whether our minds grow shallow and distracted or sharp and reflective. As Neil Postman once said, we become what we behold. If we behold endless scrolling, we will become shallow. If we behold challenging ideas, meaningful work, and sustained reflection, we will become thoughtful again. Our focus has been stolen, but it has not been lost. The task before us is simple, though not easy, to take it back.